In this video, I want to talk about the 3 Zoloft side effects I experienced when I increased my dosage of my antidepressant. And I also want to talk about what you can expect if you're starting the journey and you're wondering, like, should I increase my dosage? Should I be talking to my doctor about getting on a higher dosage? All those things. So let's get into it. First things first, quick disclaimer, we got to get out of the way. I'm not a doctor, medical professional, psychologist, psychiatrist, any of those things. I'm just a dude talking to you on a camera through the power of the internet, sharing my story and my experience. I'm a firm believer that by sharing and connecting with others, it's a great way to help elevate people all around the world, especially if you're just getting started with this journey of dealing with depression. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I want to talk about how I got started taking antidepressants and why my doctor put me on Zoloft. And I want to talk about what it was like leading up to me wanting to have my dosage increased. I first started taking antidepressants as a result of years of trying to find out what was wrong with me. I'd been working with a therapist for 2+ years. I'd been doing all these self-care experiments like cutting out alcohol and things like that and trying to find out, like, why do things feel so hard? You know, I had this constant feeling of like life shouldn't feel this difficult, and I can't imagine other people have it like this too, or else like the world would be a really tragic place. I knew something was off, and it took a long time to finally come to terms with the fact that maybe there's something wrong here and I need to get assessed by a professional. And when I got that assessment, I was diagnosed with something called persistent depressive disorder. As a result of that diagnosis, I immediately went and talked to my doctor, and he started me on Zoloft, which is also known as sertraline. And he said that I want to start you on this for 6 weeks, and you're going to do a follow-up with me, and we're going to see where things are at. So after taking Zoloft for the 6 weeks and getting ready to go into my follow-up appointment with my doctor, I kind of had this feeling like it was sort of working, but it wasn't fully there. The only analogy I can give, it's kind of like if you're having a few drinks and you get that really nice little buzz, but you're not at that comfortable, like, yeah, let's just hang out here for the night feeling. But you know, it's sort of working a little bit. Not that we should compare alcohol to that. And I actually don't drink anymore now that I'm on Zoloft or antidepressants. I just personal choice. I don't want to do it. So when I went in for my follow-up with my doctor, I had that feeling of like, I think there's something more here because it's not working for me. And that's really what it came down to. It came down to acknowledging how do I feel, and then being able to have that conversation with my doctor to be able to be vulnerable and allow myself to express those things. My doctor was really awesome. He asked me a lot of questions like, how are things with your fiance? How are things in your day-to-day? What is your experience when you're going through Zoloft and things like that? And after that conversation, before I even had a chance of bringing up, I'd like to try a higher dosage, he said, let's increase your dosage from 50 milligrams to 75 milligrams and see what happens in a few more weeks. And that's pretty much how it went. There was no crazy intense, like, oh my God, I feel bad for asking for more drugs or a higher dosage. It was his suggestion, and I was glad he brought it up because I wanted to see what that was like. So it was after my doctor increased my prescription that I felt 3 Zoloft side effects that really sucked. And they only stuck around for about 14 days or 13 days, somewhere in there. It was a little bit longer than the first starting the 50 milligram dosage. But those 3 side effects really sucked for me anyways. Here's what they were. The first side effect that I had when I increased my dosage was similar to when I first started, which was nausea or nausea. Not sure how to pronounce that, but I had this constant feeling of like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to puke, or you know, I don't know which end it's going to come out of, but that's just how I felt. Nothing ever actually happened. I never did throw up or anything, but I just had this constant uneasy feeling. And I think it was just my body getting used to the higher dosage. Now, the second Zoloft side effect really caught me by surprise because it was significantly stronger on the increased dosage than when I first started. And that was an intense feeling of exhaustion. Like, we're talking about for 13 or 14 days, I felt like I could only maybe do 1 hour of productive work in a day. And that's probably not good for most people. For me, I have the advantage of living from home and that I've got some money tucked away right now where I can take the time off of working and building and creating to be able to focus on taking care of my mental health. And if I wasn't in that position, I don't know what it would be like working a job and feeling like your energy is zapped. Like, I napped so much through the day and slept all through the night when I was on that increased dosage. And I just never felt like I could get that boost in energy. You know, having a couple coffees didn't really seem to keep it going, but that was just something that happened for about 13 or 14 days. And after that, it subsided, thankfully. So that leads to the third side effect. And again, it was something that I experienced when I first started taking Zoloft. There's another video on it talking about my experience and the 5 side effects I had. And that was a sexual related side effect. And I know that's kind of weird to talk about on the internet, strangers through video. Oh my God, we're talking about sex stuff. But as guys, it's something that we have a lot of association with our identity, especially to our like manliness or manhood. And it's not that things weren't working. It's just things weren't completing, if that makes any sense, to talk about it without getting demonetized here on YouTube. It was a really like desensitized feeling down there, and it took a while, but you know, again, it left after that. So thankfully that was just the 3 Zoloft side effects that I experienced, and they didn't last forever. You know, I hear some people who go through dosages, and maybe it's because it's higher amounts where just like they lose all interest in sex, or, you know, they're just constantly tired. It wasn't like that for me. And if you're going through any side effects, or if you're feeling like it's draining you, that's where it's really important that you have that open conversation with your doctor, your medical practitioner, because they're going to work with you, and you have to treat it like partnering with a professional to find what's going to work for your body chemistry, for your genetic makeup. It's different for everybody, and unfortunately it's not a one size fits all when it comes to taking antidepressants. So with that said, if you found this video to be helpful, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you, because I honestly believe that starting conversations around the topic of depression, around antidepressants and what it's like, will shine a light on a topic that has often been really taboo, or, you know, shunned, or people are made to feel like they're less of a human being, or that there's something wrong with them if they have a clinical issue like depression. And it's not the case. It's just like, you know, if you have diabetes, you need insulin. It's no different than that. So let's do our best to share conversations and to spark that shift and change. Also, if you found the video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe, because I'm building a whole playlist on the topic of dealing with depression, living with it, and that experience. And I would love to be able to help shine more of a light on this sort of topic, because it's near and dear to my heart as somebody who's dealt with it for almost all of my adult life. Like, once I received my diagnosis, a lot of things made a whole lot more sense. And if there's anything I can do to help bring that, you know, that aha perspective for someone else who's going through the journey, so you can take the steps to work on healing and getting better, then awesome. It would do nothing more than to make me super proud and excited for creating this video and sharing it. With that said, my name is Marcus Rideout. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.